is Teresita Blanco, the Artsy sister, and this is chapter 11, part 2. We're reading Saturnastra. I thought, what am I not seeing? I focused on Meridian again, and she had the presence of a demon, but something else lurked within her. And each time I tried to focus on that something, the deeper it hid. And when I glanced up to look at Meridian again, I saw that Oberon was sitting before me in the same pose as the demon, and again I was baffled by the change. And I had an inherent weakness of my father who could only focus on one task at a time, and on top of that I had my mother's short attention span, and oftentimes mother would get distracted easily by her surroundings, and both traits combined and made it so that I would get focused on the trivial and ignore the essential. In a lazy sort of way he addressed me. You still haven't figured it out, have you? Again I became introverted, was thinking about what I had yet to figure it out. And Oberon took the chance to strike me again. And this time it was my body who reacted to it, and having been pierced by the strange source of light, the body was already used to maneuvering around it. When my body took over the maneuvering functions, I stopped feeling the pain, and via its influence I could muse to my own amusement. And noticing my lack of attention, Oberon changed his tactics, and he combined the demon summoning with a barrage of spells, water, lightning, and wind, to chase me across the sky. And in the ground and the earth, the fire and the earth demons eagerly awaited me each time I was forced to fly lower. And in combination with our emanations were Oberon's magic attacks that burned through his horde of demons just to get to me. And the pattern of attacks of flying demons must resemble a horde of locusts or birds that swarm together to assail its target, and with so many strikes coming in all directions, I was forced to enter a defensive stance, and for each demon I destroyed, 10 more would take its place, and indeed it was futile to try to slay them with a weapon such as mine, which could only destroy them physically. And had I any occult or magical power, I would have been able to destroy the demon or send them back to hell where they belong. Overall, pandemonium reigned over the heavens of the earth, and I kept looking around for vehicles. However, the noise and the screeching from the demon was severely weakening his powers, and I had only my own and no friends in sight. And I finally became aware of my own weakness. And even for someone such as I, there is a limit to how much I can get done on my own. And that day I came to terms with my weakness, and I realized that the reason why I could not defeat Oberon was that secretly I did not want to slay him with my own hands. I took out my flute, and I played a song, and I asked for help for anyone who would listen, and I begged the sky, the air, the wind to become my allies to fight for me. And in response, the demons closest to my song turned on their brethren, and they formed a circle around me, lashing out at anything that tried to attack me. And overcome by the sound, the silence began to reign supreme over the land, and bending to my will, vital silence, Oberon's magical intonations, and the ground and the earth, the sky, all became muted. And everything became my own song of silence. And without noise, Oberon could not summon more demons, or so I thought at the time. And I had forgotten that summoning and magic were two different things, and for all my silence, this meant just I got rid of the demons, or the spells for that matter. And instead of chanting his spells, Oberon began to perform them via their hand sign equivalent. And I was paying the price for not bothering to research how to fight Oberon, or how to research most dark magic in general, and giving up on thinking altogether. I relied on the crystal to help me come up with a strategy on how to fight it. And the crystal, analyzing the target, it said, Meridian, daughter of Lily, succubus, etc. Suggest the course of action, rendition, or basically give up. Chances of escape 0%, and again the crystal kept coming out with the same conclusion. I had to give up fighting and admit surrender. But I was too stubborn to surrender. I could not wrap my head around the fact that each time I analyzed Oberon, he had Meridian's perks, and it was impossible for a succubus to command such a large army of demons. Plus, demons could only fight to kill humans, and there are the weirdos led by the devil. And the demons these days, they had no need to kill humans. They would only harm humans if they were being commanded by someone else. As things ran across my head, and I know all other outside influence, mostly the demon, and I focused my attention on analyzing Oberon. And indeed, he had a different feel about it at the time that I had met him, and all traces of his persona named Odani were gone. almost as if the person never existed, and I ran deeper still and ran across the surface of Meridian. And indeed she was the one who I was fighting, and when she felt my gaze upon her, part of her personality surfaced over Oberon's disdainful face, and this became apparent in her usual demonic coquettish scream, and the tooth came onto me like a flash of lightning. And it also helped that I had been struck by Oberon's lightning attack, and I remember. And to understand what occurred next, we need to roll back the clock to a time before I came to this world, and picture a darkly lit room covered with books, and hanging from the ceiling and scattered across the workbench, cabinets and others were crystals of all different shapes and sizes, and the wooden carvings and the chair and other furniture had comfortable Gothic look. And in the spaces of the wall were covered with books, there hung series of mirrors, and each was angled in such a way as they multiplied the central depth a million times fold. And at least it would have had there not been such impenetrable darkness, and a stand stood before each mirror, and it had the shape of two stylized snakes holding a candle. And the candles barely did anything to shut away the darkness. In fact, it seemed to strengthen it by contrast. Sitting in the right of the desk was a figure clad in red robes, and one of his slender hands was resting his head on his hand, and the other was holding a crystal close to one of his eyes. And a strand of white hair covered the other half of his face, and he was clean-shaven, and he had long aquiline nose, thin lips, and sad melancholic eyes. And his skin was pale, like the skin of someone who had not gone outside in life forever, and the eyes gazing were pitch black. And sitting on top of the desk, staring at the same crystal, was a small toddler, and the toddler had the height of a child of 1 year old, and she was wearing a ladybug costume, and she had short white hair and watery blue eyes, and like her father she would pick up each of the crystals scattered across the table and stare at them for long periods of time, and what they thought or what they hoped to see was a mystery to another child in the room. The other child was playing with dolls, and her face was identical to the one who was playing with the crystals of his father. And unlike her sister, she sported red rose in an infantile imitation of those worn by her father, and from time to time her attention would be diverted by the giggling of her sister. And whenever that occurred, she would drag her chair and climb up the desk, and as hard as she tried, she could not see what her father or her sister were looking at. As usual, she would get bored and return to playing with her dolls. And the same scene would repeat itself every so often, and this time with the other girl's evening, and she knew deep down why she could not see anything. She lacked the magic to see what her father and her sister saw, and one day her father stopped gazing at his crystal, and he looked at the girl and frowned. As if struck by the idea, he was so absorbed for a few hours, and as was his habit, he nodded when he came to a decision, and he said to the girl, "You may not have magic, or your future self may be seriously limited. Still, there are few things that you must know about magic. 1. Summoning is not magic. 2. Rituals are very important. Disrupting the ritual and you disrupt the spell. 2. Silent spells have become obsolete. 4. Possessions work both ways. 5. Magic never misses. The only way to evade a magical attack is via and he would have kept on explaining. However, he noted that his daughter's attention had gotten distracted by a tiny spider crawling across the floor. Time, bro?
6 minutes.
As a result, she had only half heard or half remembered the explanation, and the memory returned to me when I got struck by lightning. Yes, magic attacks never miss, and possessions work both ways, meaning that Oberon had possessed the demon by the name of Meridian, and via her host body, he was channeling his magic through her. And I changed my tune from offensive retaliation to a song of peace, and the effect of the song made the demons around me less hostile. And Oberon gave me a disdainful sideways look, and he yawned, and he asked, "Do you still insist on fighting me?" "No," I said, landing before him, and I retracted my gray wings, and my attire changed back to a civilian blue dress. Smirking, he said, "I see you like the flute I made. It only works well if your eyelids trust in you completely, and it was not made to dominate the minds of your foes." "Did Mother ask you to go easy on me?" I asked sadly. "On the contrary," he said. "She begged me to indulge you in this little battle. She knew that it was important for you to fight me. As for me, I derive no pleasure in bullying weaklings." "And Nalini? What of the girl Nalini?" I asked. "What indeed? I neither know nor care about the little games that you were playing with that fool. Away with you, child. I have no patience for the likes of for idiots." He motioned his hand in a manner that used to shoo away an annoying little puppy, Scratching my hair with both my hands, I moan, I don't get it. What's there to get? Asked Oberon. You know as well as I do the truth, the real truth. Think hard, Nalini, and remember, you two little girls are very much alike. Oh, I said, recognizing the implications behind what he said. And then whined, I still don't get it. With respect to me, said Oberon, pointing at his face, and then he placed his hand over his heart and her. We had never laid a hand on Nalini, on the other elf Nalini. But then those memory fragments and her thoughts, I still don't get it, I complained. You underestimate the elves' powers of delusion, and even now, in the face of all this carnage, they imagine themselves as the rightful owners of this world, he said, shaking his head sadly. He speaks the truth, Nalini said in my mother's voice. Tell me what really happened to the other Nalini, I said somewhat distraught. The Nearby demons grimaced when they heard my question, and even for their kind, the story seemed a little too far-fetched. For you to understand the elven, Nalini, you must understand the elves of this world, said Oberon. To better explain himself, he casted an illusion, and the illusion showed the primordials living in the forest. And as he went on, the images around me changed as he continued. The primordial elves became sentient beings at the same time as humans, and because of their longevity, vitality, and physical skill, they mastered the environment quickly. As for the humans, they had to improvise, and this certainty of their superiority was their downfall. And the elves never felt they had to improve upon themselves, that it was their way or the highway, and they looked disdainfully at the machinations of the little weak humans. And in the lifetime of my ancestors, they saw the rise and fall of many human civilizations, and thus they lived with the certainty that their way was the right way. And the same pattern repeated itself in this world. Time, bro?
3 minutes.
Only in this case, the elves came with the backdrop of the abuses that they had suffered by the Romans, and from their perspective, it was the Romans who shot first. And the last memory may have been laid dormant, however, over some time, the primordial started to remember, and hating the centuries of humiliation they suffered under the humans, they left Nemoresis to form an empire. And they were united in their efforts by the first Dark Elf, the prophet Grimir, and he became their first overseer, and taking lessons from the past, the elves resolved never to allow the humans or any other creature to dominate them. And at first they limited themselves to conquering nearby villages near their territory, and over time they became a massive empire that almost conquered the continent, which later came to be known as the continent of Bersamen. And as it was their habit, the guardians of the world allowed this unabridged conquest to occur. As long as they received their proper worship, they did not care if either the elves or the humans worshipped them. However, the disturbing occurrences brought the other creatures into action, and to fuel his magic, Grimir started sacrificing the surplus of women and children in the elven cities they conquered, and as the elves' numbers multiplied, they started to flat out purge all of the non-elven population. And to stop them, I was sent to cast dissent among the elves, and I have been performing this task for the last 600 years in an effort to keep the elves from purging all of the other species off the face of this world. And whenever they get too arrogant, I plant the seeds of deceit, and the elves destroy themselves from within. So Oberon's role is just there to cause chaos, to keep the elves from going on a killing spree of all of the non-elf people, to keep them from getting too strong, so they don't go on a killing spree. Time, bro?
Less than a minute.
Alright, so let's just leave it at that. Bye bye and God bless.